From a small Korean shop to a $500 billion tech giant, how did Samsung grow into a global tech powerhouse? Here are 10 key moves and lessons that fueled its rise. The humble beginnings of Samsung, 1938 to 1950s. In 1938, Lee Byung-chul founded Samsung in Daegu, Korea. Originally, it was just a small trading company dealing in dried fish, groceries, and noodles. At the time, Korea was still under Japanese rule, and economic opportunities were limited. Lee's vision was simple. He wanted to build a stable, homegrown business that could support local communities. But history had other plans. When Korea gained independence in 1945, the nation entered a period of uncertainty and economic hardship. Yet, Samsung managed to adapt, expanding its trading operations. Then came the Korean War in 1950. While many businesses collapsed, Lee pivoted his strategy, shifting Samsung's focus from just trading to manufacturing. He invested in sugar refining and textiles, industries that Korea desperately needed to rebuild its economy. By the late 1950s, Samsung was no longer just a trading company. It had grown into a major industrial player, laying the foundation for what would become one of the world's most powerful corporations. Industrial expansion and diversification, 1950s to 1969. After the war, Korea was in ruins, and the government prioritized industrial growth. Lee Byung-chul saw an opportunity. He rapidly expanded Samsung into key industries, including textiles, fertilizer production, and food processing. With government support and financial backing, Samsung quickly became one of the biggest industrial groups in Korea. This period also marked a shift in Samsung's strategy, moving from being just a domestic business to an international one. Samsung started exporting products and exploring new markets, but Lee knew that traditional industries had limitations. To ensure long-term survival, Samsung needed to embrace modern technology. In 1969, Samsung Electronics was born. The company's first product? A black and white television. It wasn't revolutionary, but it was a start. Samsung had officially entered the world of consumer electronics, setting the stage for its transformation into a tech giant. Entering the electronics market, 1969 to 1980, the 1970s and early 1980s were a time of rapid technological change. Japan was dominating the consumer electronics industry with companies like Sony and Panasonic leading the way. Samsung, however, was just getting started. At first, Samsung focused on simple home appliances, TVs, refrigerators, and washing machines. But Lee Byung-chul had bigger ambitions. He wanted Samsung to become a technology leader. To do this, the company needed to build its own technology rather than relying on imports. This strategy led to heavy investments in research and development. Samsung opened new manufacturing plants and hired international experts to improve its products. Though the company still had a reputation for making budget-friendly electronics, the foundation for innovation was being laid. By the end of the 1980s, Samsung was no longer just a small player in electronics. It was beginning to challenge global competitors, but its biggest gamble was yet to come. The semiconductor gamble, 1980s to 1990s. If there was one move that changed Samsung forever, it was entering the semiconductor business. In the 1980s, the global semiconductor industry was dominated by companies like Intel and Texas Instruments. Many believed that a Korean company had no chance of competing. But Lee Byung-chul thought differently. He saw semiconductors as the future of technology, powering computers, appliances, and future innovations. So, despite skepticism, Samsung invested billions in chip production. The early years were tough. Developing semiconductors required cutting-edge technology and massive financial resources, but Samsung persisted. By the 1990s, it had cracked the market and become one of the world's leading memory chip producers. Today, Samsung is the world's largest memory chip manufacturer. The risk paid off, proving that bold investments and long-term thinking could lead to industry dominance. From budget brand to premium innovator, 1990s to 2000s, During the 1990s, Samsung underwent a major transformation under Lee Kun-hee, the son of the founder. His philosophy was clear: quality and innovation must come first. At the time, Samsung products were seen as cheap alternatives to Japanese brands. Lee Kun-hee changed that by investing heavily in product design, branding, and research. His famous words, "Change everything except your wife and children," became the company's new motto. Samsung began making high-end TVs, sleek mobile phones, and advanced semiconductors. By the early 2000s, it was no longer just a budget brand. It was competing with Sony and Apple as a leader in premium electronics. This shift laid the foundation for what would come next: the rise of Samsung as a smartphone giant. The smartphone revolution, 2000s to 2010s. The launch of the first iPhone in 2007 changed everything. While companies like Nokia and BlackBerry struggled to adapt, Samsung saw an opportunity. It quickly developed its own smartphone line, the Galaxy series. The real breakthrough came in 2012, when the Galaxy S3 became the world's best-selling smartphone, even surpassing Apple's iPhone. Samsung's ability to mass-produce high-quality devices at competitive prices gave it a major edge. Today, Samsung is the world's top smartphone maker, leading in innovation with foldable phones, high-end cameras, and advanced software. Beyond smartphones, Samsung's technological reach. Samsung's influence extends far beyond smartphones. It's the leading manufacturer of OLED displays used in Apple products. It produces high-quality batteries, memory chips, and even AI-powered software. Beyond hardware, Samsung is investing in AI, robotics, and 5G networks. Its research labs are working on future technologies like quantum computing and biotech. Challenges and setbacks. Samsung's struggles. Samsung's journey hasn't been without challenges. The 2016 Galaxy Note 7 battery crisis was a major setback, resulting in a global recall. Leadership scandals and competition from Chinese brands like Huawei and Xiaomi have also put pressure on Samsung. Yet Samsung has always bounced back, proving that resilience is key to survival in the tech industry. The future of Samsung: innovation and expansion. Looking ahead, Samsung is focusing on AI, electric vehicle batteries, and smart home technology. It's investing in sustainable manufacturing and aims to lead in next-generation chip production. Samsung's vision remains clear: continuous innovation and adaptation. Samsung's legacy and lessons in business growth. Samsung's story proves that bold vision, risk-taking, and resilience can turn any business into a global leader. From a small shop in 1938 to a $500 billion tech empire, Samsung's rise is an inspiring example of how strategic growth and adaptation can shape the future of technology.